Welcome, Broke Bushcraft. I'm Adam, and today we're going to talk about how to put a line on a fishing pole. Now, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share, and let's kick this off. So, fishing is probably my favorite pastime, my favorite hobby to do, besides bushcraft. And fishing is probably the easiest way for you to get food, especially if you were in a survival type situation or a bug out situation where food is scarce in the supermarket. You know, you don't have to hunt things down. You don't have to own any kind of fancy equipment. Really, you don't have to trap anything. Really, fishing is probably the easiest way to gain food. And if you look at any of the survival shows, the way they always survive is fish. Big game animals aren't typically taken. And recently, I have a new nemesis, and that's a snakehead fish, which has taken up residence in the local reservoir near my house. So I am on a mission for those fish. So this is an open face reel. Whatever type of reel you use, whatever brand you use, it's all up to you, user preference. I've taken off, or I didn't take it off, I left it on. I usually take this top off here so that I can, let me take my top off for you. So it makes it a little easier to put the line on. You're gonna determine what kind of line you want. I kind of stick with around the 10-pound. That's only because it allows me to catch everything from small panfish to those larger like bass and snakehead fish that I'm gonna go, and catfish that I'm gonna go fishing for. So whatever line you pick, you wanna make sure that your reel can handle that line. And then you wanna have about 100 yards of line on your fishing pole or on your reel. And how do we determine that? Well, you have your bail. This is your bail right there. You're gonna have your spool right here. You're gonna come about 1/8 of an inch behind that spool, so towards the edge of that spool. And I'll show you that here in a minute. To tie the knot, the first knot you're gonna put on here, I like to use an arbor knot, and I'll show you that here in a second. You can use two overhand knots just to put it on there, and then you can use tape to put it down or hold it down. A bunch of different ways to do it. It's really user preference as far as what knot you're gonna do. So let me show you how to do the arbor knot. Okay, arbor knot's really simple. It's just basically 2 overhand knots with a bite. So the first thing I always do is I tie my first overhand knot. And that's just so, in case I don't have enough extra on my tail, that it's already tied in there. And then if this was the fishing line, I'm gonna nip this off right here with my fingernail clippers. So you take it around your spool, so this will be the reel. Take it around, then you're gonna come behind it, in front of it, so you're gonna come in front, and then through this little hole. So let's see if I can do that better for you. So behind, over, and then run the rabbit through the hole right here. And you just have an overhand knot right there. And you just cinch that down onto your spool. And with fish line, this will all tighten up. So that's your arbor knot. Okay, so I ran my line through this. I like to use this first eyelet. So I ran my line through the eyelet already. I tied my arbor knot down to my spool here. So you're just gonna close the bail. And before you start reeling, you wanna make sure that the sticker on your line is face up. And the reason for that is because it has a memory. The line has a memory. It's going to come out in a clockwise manner, and it's going to go on in a clockwise manner. So the line has a memory of it. It's just going to go from a bigger spool to a smaller spool. Then you're just going to trap the line. You're just going to trap the line up, just a little bit of tension on it, and then you're just going to start reeling. And you're just paying attention to it. Once you get about 1/8 of an inch from the end, or where the line is on there, then you're gonna stop, and that should be about 100 yards of fishing line, and that can handle it. You don't want to go outside of the spool. The reason for that is then the line will start messing up and getting tangled, and it's just a mess for you. You don't want to be messing with fishing line while you're out there fishing. You want all this to be done beforehand. And changing out your fishing line is a good practice to do, probably about once a year, once every 2 years. You know your fishing line best. You know how it's casting. and how it's acting, and then what kind of line is on there. You may want to switch it up. I have a couple reels with a different line on there. Some have braided lines, some have monoline, some have blue, clear. It's just preference. Okay, so once you get to where you're right about there, that's about 1/8 of an inch, more or less. I'm not going to measure my metals off it. And you're just going to take your top, put your top back on. Pull some line off. I'm using my Swiss Army knife, not my fingernail clippers. Cut the line, and then just run it through the eyelets. You want to make sure that something I have done in the past is I was running it through the eyelets. I wasn't paying attention. I missed an eyelet. So you want to make sure that you are getting through all the eyelets. That way you're maximizing the fishing pole's strength and you're not cheating yourself. And you just pull a little taut, make sure it's there. And now you're ready to put whatever lure, hook, or whatever on here that you deem necessary. If you're not going to use it right away, there is a string catch down here. You can simply just wrap it around your string catch, and then you are ready to go. Okay, so you have your line tied on your fishing pole. Now, how do you tie a lure to it? So this is going to pretend this is my lure. This has an eyelet. So this will be the eyelet to your lure or to your hook. You're going to run it through, and I'm using this 550 cord strand, so hopefully you guys can see all this. So this part right here would be going to my fishing pole. And then you're going to grab them and spin this 6 times, whichever way you want to go. 6. And then this has created down here an opening. You're going to take your line, this is ugly, and run it through that hole, through that loop, and then keep your finger right here and bring the string back around. And then cinch it down. And that is your clinch knot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the woods.